Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. I don't know what this one's going to be about actually. I got the week off work, so I've got both these cars here to do. I don't want to be chopping changing between like separate videos and yada yada, and because I don't want to just smash them out. So I might just do general video on both of them, I suppose. So since last time on the Loza, I have got these fittings done now. Welded these fittings on. So this one here is our -6 return from the turbo. So the turbo will get a feed from the block, maybe, depending on the setup of the motor. Because I don't know if it's a GE. I think it might be a GE block that the bro has. So we either need to get a water gallery drilled into and tap that and put a fitting into it to feed the turbo, or just if it's GD, I don't think it's GDE, but yeah, we'll sort something anyway. But this is the return for it. I've got the fitting welded on here for the swirl pot return, and then we've got a third fitting there for the two head breathers to return to. So those two are -4, that's -6. Then we've got a -10 drain for the expansion tank that goes back into the radiator. So that's welded on, and then I just have to make another tank for the overflow when the cap opens up and recirculates the fluid back into into your overflow and then sucks it back in, yada yada. What else have I done? I didn't film this, sorry, but I made a this here alternator bracket on the CNC. So I made that to mount the alternator on the side of the motor, obviously. It turned out pretty good. It wasn't too difficult. The alternator bolts up to that tab on the block from the bottom, original bottom mount. So flip upside down, mounts there, and it's in line with the pulley. And there's just a piece of 17mm thick alley. So it only needed a little cutout there, like 10mm or something, so it all squared up nicely. So that turned out pretty cool. I started welding the bottom brace in. I ran out of mid gas, so I just had to go get some before, so I'll finish that off. I started on the water pump thingy, the other plate. I've done the holes and the O-ring groove now, so I have to come up with a cunning way to, because it has to be machined on both sides, so I have to have a cunning way of flipping it over and having it in the same spot and actually clamping it too, because I've went to work and cut it to mostly the shape on the bandsaw to cut down on machining time, because to machine it originally it was going to be like fucking hours and hours, like all day to machine it, and most of the machining would be, obviously if this was a square plate, would be like milling out all this dead area that doesn't actually matter. So I've scrapped all that already, so hopefully now the machining time doesn't have to worry about that, so it just cuts the shape out instead of all the other bullshit. So hopefully that cuts the machining time down. I think it was about 3 hours now, but I might be able to get it a little bit less. But then I have to also clamp this, and because it's so, like, this is almost the same shape, I can't run the clamps on it to hold it because it'll interfere with the tool. So I think what I'm going to do is, I've got the holes drilled, I'll get the other piece of offcut that I had here, I'll drill the same pattern in it as those, and then I'll bolt that piece onto here so it sits on this, and then I'll clamp this piece to the table, so then it won't interfere, the clamps won't interfere with the workpiece, or the tooling, sorry. So hopefully that works out. But yeah, that's it for the laurel at the moment. There's some other bullshit to do, I think. Yeah, when I fucking remember, I got some lines and stuff ordered for it, so they turn up tomorrow hopefully, and so I can plumb all that cooling system. And I've got just some pipe to weld our nozzle, our fucking outlet out of that onto there. So once all that's done and that's cut out, better bolt it all together, and then I better dummy up where the water pump's going to actually fit, and then figure out what sort of hoses we need to run it into the water pump. So yeah, as for the Skyline, this is, like I said in my short, he's cut the rear end off it, So we need to put that fuel tank in there and make, you know, a tube set up to mount the bumper and the tank and the guards and stuff. So a lot of you guys that fucking watch my videos already know this car. Jared Coombes used to be in D1. Had a 180, competed in D1 a while ago, fucking like a billion years ago. So yeah, this is just his, you know, beta or play car. So it's been a few years since he's fucking had it out, as you can tell. So he kind of wants to get back into it and have some fun. So we're going to sort it out for him. Yeah, so I've just got some roll cage tube, so I'm going to make a hoop that basically comes off the where the old chassis rails sit. So we'll just make a hoop here. I'm just going to go weld some 3mm over the ends here so we can weld the pipe to it. I was going to go get some flap discs because I'm ran out, so I'm going to have to go get some of those real quick just to clean up the steel. But yeah, I will go get to that, and while the mill's cutting out that piece, I will be doing some stuff on this and, you know, chopping and changing in between and hopefully catching some filming. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Making some plates up to cover these holes on the end of the skyline here. I decided to not just make a square and go like that. I've made it a lot longer because what I'll do is I'll fold the top over and then weld the top onto the top of this panel, because this is quite flimsy. You can probably see it moving like that. That's quite thin. This stuff here is nice and thick. It's like fucking 3mm, like double 3mm. This here is quite like panel steel, so there'll be a welding along that edge. It's going to be fucking gross and it'll melt away and shit, and then, you know, yada yada. So I'll fold the end over like that, and then it's got, you know, some meat to weld to. So yeah. Right, just getting these plates welded on. I thought while I was doing them, just let you in on a bit of a fucking thing that I've found when welding like brand new nice thicker plate to like thin shit, especially this top stuff. This stuff's good, but the top stuff's pretty thin, is to keep the fucking torch or start it on the good stuff, and sort of just as you're doing it, you walk the puddle like, then like flick it out to the thin shit, so you're not like constantly having the heat right in the middle of the where the two meet. You're focusing the heat more on the new shit and sort of just flicking it out into the thinner shit there, and it fucking don't blow holes as often or at all doing like that. So a little bit of a tech tip from a unprofessional, unqualified welder. Okay, so we're gonna put this, we'll bend this pipe up to go in here. We've got 1.5 meters, so we're going to use the whole thing. So to get it spot on, I think my maths is right. This is 1500. We've got center to center here is 845. So we divide that by 2, and it was something like 655 or something. Which means we divide that by 2 again, which was 327. So we've got 327 on each end marked out. Now the centerline radius of the die is 6 inches, which means from the start of the die here, if you do a 90, like over to the other side of it, the end of it, 90 degrees, it's 6 inches. So from here to here is 6 inches. So if we go 6 inches from our marks, whatever that is in millimeters, and that's where we start our bend. So we start our bend on the edge of it there. It should, when it's bent at 90, be 845 in the center of the pipe. So it should just go straight on. So I'm gonna bend that up and hopefully it works. Otherwise we'll be buying another piece of pipe. So the measurement of our 327 plus our 6 inches ended up being like 480 mil. So I measured 480 mil from the pipe to here, and I'll put it at the start of the die here. And I like to keep the seam at a spot that is like referenceable for when you do the other end. So then when you've got both bends, they are like straight with each other, instead of one going like down and then one being like fucking the opposite way, all fucked up. So like to do that and just line it up with like the top of the die, so then I can repeat it on the other side. So let's bend it. This is just a manual bender too. I don't know if anyone maybe that's new didn't watch my old videos of me building my roll cage for the S15, but pretty much the pipe gets dragged through this die to bend it, and it's held steady by this little guide one here. And the way it works is just this here, it's got the pipe grabbed, and you just keep on like doing it like so, pull that, and it just leverages on there. You go back one notch, like to the next notch like that, do it again, keep repeating, you just keep moving the notches until you got this here bent out to where you want it. Yeah, when you get to the end, it's not 90 degrees on this, but all you do is pull this pin out, go to the next hole over. Now you've got more to go. Alright, just like that, we are center there to center there. We're about 855, so we're about 10 mil, plus or minus 10 mil, plus 10 mil to what I measured. It's probably just little slight deviations, so I think we're pretty spot on there. That should go straight on. We've got enough room there for it to be plus or minus. Sick. Oh, actually, now that I've got out of the die, this isn't quite 90 degrees, so that's probably why it doesn't go to 845. So I'll give it one little tweak to get it to 90 and try it out. Alright, I've got it tacked on there. I'm just going to do some measurements, just because where these are cut off might not exactly be, you know, the same lengths. So I'm just going to do a quick measurement from like something like the subframe here and just see what that is. 410 or something, and then this one is 415, so it's a little bit longer on this end. So we'll take 5 mil off the pipe here and then retack it. It should be nice and square in the back, and then we'll just get a level, put it on the bars, get that propped up level, and then tack it on, double check it, fully weld it. It'll be fucking sorted. Then after that we can just dummy up that fuel tank in the back and see what we need to make to accommodate that bracket wise, and then after that just get some smaller rod and we'll make some stays, some sort of stays to mount all the guards and stuff on. Just use small rod for all that shit, just so since it's a drift car, like the backs of a drift car is pretty prone to being fucking like pushed into shit. So I find it's nice if you have like a soft-ish rear end, so if you put it into something, it sort of folds and then bounces back, the fiberglass does. So yeah, don't make it too strong. It's nice to make the centre bit strong where everything's mounted to, but then all the stays off it, you know, you don't want them to be overly engineered because you want it to kind of fold if anything happens. So yeah, we'll just get some like inch bar, kind of the same stuff as like what I made these cross members out of, like that. Probably not that thick wall though. Yeah, even smaller maybe. We'll see what's on the what we can get from the shop. So yeah, I'll sort this out, show you the finish. All right, to get it like center too, what I've done here is just gone off the rim, in the side of the rim there, and taken a measurement. It was 270 to the outside of the pipe. Same with this side, off the rim, 270 to the outside of the pipe. So know it's nice and central on the car too. Yeah, awesome, looks pretty sweet. All right, I've just put a level across here, make sure it's straight that way, and then I've just put a level on each of these pipes to make sure they are level as well. I don't know where I got up to yesterday when I was recording because my GoPro died halfway through fucking talking, so I think it was up to this piece. I'll come out the next day. What I've decided to do is we're gonna sit the fuel tank, like recess it in the pipe here, so it's sits lower, so it's not like high up into the boot or anything. So it'll lower the center of gravity as well, because obviously it's probably not a good idea to have a high tank in the back of a drift car with fluid in it that's sloshing, so even though it's baffled. So we'll lower it as best as we can to get the center of gravity down and the weight, you know, lower. so that should work out good. Just gonna have it low enough so you can still access like the rear diff plate bolts, because you know, if you blow a diff at a track day or something, you don't want to be taking the fuel tank out to get the fucking diff bolts. So make sure that they clear those so you can just get a fucking rattle gun straight on them, so they won't hinder that. So that's roughly where it's going to sit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend up another piece of pipe that goes from here to the other side to support the bottom, and then I'll run 2 pipes from the pipe that runs through there up in here, so it's kind of like a nice little cradle for the tank to sit in. So yeah, that should turn out nice, and then I'll just run a quick couple of stays here to here just to support the weight of this, obviously, so it's not all on the one little point there. So it's brace it like that, and that should turn out good. I've got some small pipe here, just this size, I think it's about 20 mil or something, just to run around the top frame kind of and support the guards and whatnot. And I got some more pipe to make like the rear bumper support for the back of it. So yeah, we'll get to all that today. Also managed to get me water pump thread milled, so I got a new mill cutter for the mill, so just a single tooth thread mill, so I can cut threads on it now. So yeah, cut a thread in there, hopefully it works out. Kind of doesn't look like the same thread that I thought it was going to be, but I'll wait till I get a part that I brought for that thread, possibly see if it actually works. I don't think it is going to, but since I can cut threads on this now, I can just cut that same thread onto another part, so I can get it to fit anyway. So that turned out pretty cool. So yeah, nice and productive week so far. Right, so I've just replicated this hoop here, made another one, so it's going to go under here to support the back side of the fuel tank. I'm just going to notch some holes either side so then it can locate up on the pipe nicely, and then we'll tack that there, and then we'll make 2 more long ways. Alright, got this bit tacked in. That's our bottom sort of fuel tank brace, so just have 2 more here and here, and be sweet. I might set the fuel tank in there real quick, just see how it looks. Alright, I got one of these tacked in there, so to make the other one I just put the tank in to see how it's going to sit. It's going to be pretty good. What I'm thinking I'll do is, because it's round pipe, oh what's on my hand, shit, like it's gonna, we can't have it just sitting on each corner, so I think what I might do is I might weld a couple of pickup points, I suppose, like just flat, just in parts of the pipe around here, and then I'll just weld some tabs off the fuel tank itself so it can just sit sit on the top here. Alright, I'm out here tomorrow, next day, yada yada. I'm gonna set this up in the mill to machine for the day first, and then I can just carry on with all the other shit. Right, got me fucking thing done. Got countersinks this side that go through this bottom block and come through halfway through these threads here. So now I can set it in the mill and clamp there and there with the clamps, and then the tool's free to machine this top part and then not interfere with any of the mounting holes that I've put through this way, because they don't come right the way through, so should work out car pie. Alright, I couldn't run any clamps on here either because I ran the tool path and it does a clear like on the outskirts that probably would have hit the clamps, so I've come up with this. I've just drilled holes through this bottom fixture plate and got some bolts that go through and into the T-bolts to clamp this down, so it should be sweet to fucking machine now. Doesn't matter about this protruding a little bit because it doesn't go that deep, it only goes down 8 mil or something to take off, you know, 8 mil of around here and here. It'll just be the final contour that I do, but it should miss it because this material is going to be come off, you know, up to here somewhere. So yeah, I've just got it squared up in the table here, so it's you know, machines it straight, obviously. I pretty much, when I done it, I just ran this is a 10mm end mill just flipped around, and what I've done is I've just jogged it into the steel ever so slightly on the slower setting with a feeler gauge until it just bit the feeler gauge, and then I've just gone up to the other side here on the mill and done the same thing with the feeler gauge, make sure it was pretty close, and just tapped it around so it was nice and square with the y-axis. Got the thing cutting, got her all zeroed out and made sure she's all sweet, lined up. Looks like it's going quite good. So while that's cutting, I am finishing off this one pipe here. Then I'll weld it all together and make some tabs for the fuel tank to mount to in there. Should be looking pretty sweet. Then I'll start on the top maybe. Might start on the top around here somehow, or maybe to start them on rear bumper, then make the top. Then I'll come up with a decent order so everything lines up nicely. I'm still waiting on some parts for this. I know the courier hasn't turned up yet, but shouldn't be too far away, I would have thought. Alright, so I'll come up with this for the Skyline tank mounts. I've got all this welded up. I've just welded in these separate smaller bars like this, like each side. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a bit of steel to weld over top and have some holes in it with some nuts welded on underneath, and then on the side of the tank I'll just make some brackets, some little L brackets with a brace on each side that come out so the tank can just go in and then the brackets can sit on either side, so it should turn out pretty good. Alright, I got the top stays in there. That's how she looks rear end wise, so that's pretty much the whole cradle for the fuel cell done. And the brace is just there so you can fucking put some weight on it. So I'm not too sure where we're going to put the jacking point yet, because the bumper's like quite bulky at the back sort of thing, so there's going to have to be some pipes come off the back here and then a bumper support, and then I'm unsure whether or not we have it so the bumper can slide in and off with the iron. So like if we have like pins, so you can just clip the bumper and the iron out of this cradle here, slide that off, so it makes it nice and easy to like get on and off. The only problem with that is if we want to make a jacking point, the jacking point doesn't want to be too far under the bumper, so I'm going to have to get a jack and just see where the best place to put it would be, and see if we can get it as close to where this whole fucking frame is, because it's quite sturdy, that. So yeah, that's about how we're going with that. The next thing is so I want to put, like, do some bracing around the top for the boot. So I want to set the boot on there and then like kind of make out of this thinner stuff a frame that comes around, but we don't want it to come right across because you won't get the fuel tank in and out if you've got a welded frame up the top, because I think it might be a bit just too wide. It might fit, maybe. I'll size it all up and see if we can actually have a frame, but we don't want to be too bulky at the back anyway, so just a quick little frame. But it would be nice to have like 2 bars off here and then come off these bars here, like up and then into here, if you know what I mean. So it kind of makes it out of here, and that should look quite cool and sturdy. And then fuck, she's a bit miserable today, guys. Fuck, won't stop us pushing up though. So today we got some fittings and hose turn up for the lozer. Have to go through this nice black line here, black fittings for this. Gone PTFE for this stuff. PTFE line's like resistant to everything. You can use the regular hose stuff, but I really like PTFE because, you know, like nothing reacts with it. It's also thinner too. Like if you compare, this is -6 PTFE. I think that's -6 as well. Is this -8? No, that might be -8. Sorry, but yeah, it's -8 PTFE. My bad. But if you compare it to like a regular just braided -6, it's actually thinner, because it's only like a thin walled piece of PTFE rather than a rubber wall with the steel banding around it. So I reckon it's tidier too, because you haven't got bulky lines fucking everywhere. And like the locking system on them is really fucking cool as well, I reckon. Just the you've got your fucking, you got your fitting that slips on. You've got your little olive which goes like over the top of the inside liner, and then the stainless fucking wrap is on the outside of it. Fitting goes in, clamp up, and it fucking locks together like real solid. So I prefer it over the other stuff because, you know, worst thing at track days, a line blows off because it's fucking cheap and nasty. So have a good decent quality fucking solid line and you won't have any issues. And then it doesn't make me look bad either when someone goes to track day and goes, fucking line that you made, bro, blew off and it fucking cooked the motor or something. Like, just something you don't want for, like, for the sake of fucking not much extra money, really. Right, I got these plates made up. Just cut some 3mm steel, welded some nuts on the back side there. Both sides. So now what I've done is I have lost my parts. Where did I put those? Ah, under here. I've just got these that I cut out. So it'll just get a fold that way, like an L, and then these end bits will fold in, so it's like a L bracket with the brace either side, and they will weld to the side like that. And then I put some holes in there, and then those tabs on each side will sit on there and then bolt down. So should work out quite good. And I got this is coming along quite well. I got most of the facing done there and there. I've got a ball mill, which is the round end that's going to go around and just trim up that inner lip that I've left behind, so it's got a nice round radius. And then after that, just cut it out and do the final chamfers after it's cut out, and she'll be good to go. My part that I got didn't fit. Where did I put it? Oh, this. I bought this. This is an ORB 16 fitting to like a 35mm radiator hose. My plan was to have that screw into there, so it's, you know, screw in there. But I looked up the thread for ORB 16, and it gave me a like I found a thread for it, like what it was meant to be, and I've cut the thread, but they don't correlate for some reason. So I don't know what's going on there. So my plan for this now is probably whatever thread I've got in there, I'll try get a see if I can find one that is like this, or the other option is to maybe I find a big bolt that, like, it'll be like this piece here with that thread but no end on it, and then I'll just have to like weld a fitting on, sort of thing. Or the other option is I get a bit of flat like round stock and just cut my own one of these out. But just thinking about how to do it, really. Kind of need like a 4-axis so I can do the edges. But what I was thinking, because I can't, kind of need a lathe to do it. I might have to outsource that or come up with something else for now, but it's mostly done, so I can bolt it to the car and worry about that next few days, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm just going to go down to work right now and fold these things up on the folders, and yeah, sit it in there and fucking should look mint. So I'm a bit distraught at the moment because I was in the final cuts of my bloody thing and that happened. The toolpath decided to follow something else rather than what I had selected, so I think what I'm going to do there is I guess I'll just have to put this in here and just weld it on the end there. I was hoping to have it threaded so you could pull it on and off, but it's going to just have to be welded now because cutting another one of those out is a lot of time, and that plate was quite expensive. So, well, not quite expensive, but you know. So yeah, it's a bit of a bugger, but we're learning. Yeah, know for next time, and know what to do, know what speeds to kind of run it at to have it like a better finish and stuff. So yeah, but I got this. Got these mounts on. Just mounts like that. Put some holes in there. That'll sit like that in the back of the car. I'm thinking that I might put a bar across the bottom here, and then have something like some rubber something soft that the tank can sort of rest on, and then when the bolts do up on the side clamps, sort of pulls into it, just so that that bottom's supported by a big bar rather than all the weight of this tank being just resting on, like on these. Like it'd be nice to have some support in the underneath in the middle just to hold most of the weight. So I might put a bar across there and just get something soft for it to like rest on, sort of like a factory tank does. So then it will shouldn't have any issues with cracking like any welds along the edge or something. But yeah, turned out quite good. So I got me fitting welded onto the water pump bypass delete thingy, water pump inlet. That's how it turned out. So looks pretty cool. I gave it a bit of a scrub up, like a polish up and stuff, so it's, you know, a bit shinier. But yeah, I had to weld the fitting on because of that issue I had. But looks pretty cool down in there. Not bad for a you know, do-it-yourself CNC mill that I built myself. So pretty stoked. Yeah. What's today? Friday. I might. Wow. Yeah. I might end the video here just so I can pump it out, because I don't think I've had one out for a week or two. So I think I've got enough content in this one video on the Skyline and on that. So I might yeah, we'll end it here, and I will keep doing videos over the weekend and hopefully pump out another video soonish for you in the next couple of days as well. So that'll be pretty cool. So yeah, I guess we'll just call it. Tune in for the next one. I'll hopefully have some more content on this and more stuff on that as well. So yeah, thanks for watching as usual. Hit the like, sub, and we'll see you again shortly. Peace, have a good one.